Okay, I hope that it works. I am continuing to experiment and figure out my technology and see how it functions. And I think I'm live right now. I think that I am live, but I'm waiting for a window to load to prove it. Can I just go? Can we open it? Live. Yeah. It does look like that. I've got 5 people watching, so I'm not disappointing that many people yet. And now I'm watching a commercial on my own channel. Alright, skip. Okay, you are live, woo, hey from Delaware. Okay, see you guys. It's functioning. How about that? Isn't that great? Let's pull that window to the side. Okay, I can answer some questions. Have you been brushing up on your cat drawing skills? No, absolutely not. The last time I drew a cat was the last time I practiced drawing a cat. I have better things to do. Cat things. I'm gonna move this window over here. And I'm gonna save every one of these windows over here. Sorry, this is very unprofessional. I'm just sort of narrating cleaning up because it's more entertaining than being silent while I clean up. But also, I have to do it so my computer doesn't shut down while I'm streaming. Save these tabs, close this window, close that window, and then check in for questions. Where are the questions? I see another woman here. There usually are several women on my lives. You catch me almost every live from DE. Come visit. DE is Delaware, isn't it? What do you think that anyone wants to visit Delaware? Minnesota. I never get the lakes right. I think it's like a lake here and then a lake here. And then it goes over here and you have Maine. And then it's all kind of like, there's Massachusetts. It's kind of janky. Isn't Delaware just like where Washington, D.C. does all of its corporate crime? Isn't that really all that Delaware is? Let's draw the United States. And I never remember, is it the small one and then the large one? I have I have Texas dyslexia. Yes, sir, I'm at Rehoboth Beach. It's great. I liked your new video, Mr. Ho. Good. You mean the one from today or the big one from last week? I'm gonna be able to do a bunch of short ones again. I have my stuff mostly set up, mostly. I still need a day to like put my stuff in a place so that it's not in the way all the time. And as you can see, I don't even have my camera zoomed in, which is probably irritating. But I'm opening that now. Okay. There we go. Click. Got my auto zoom program. What is your opinion on TikTok getting banned? I think they're just messing with you. I think that they're gonna find a way to not ban it. I was planning to get back on TikTok and start using it more because whenever I make a short, it can go on YouTube and TikTok. And, you know, it's always good to have the extra audience. I hope they don't get rid of it. I also am aware that as far as sending information between people, TikTok is the clearest channel. It's like really the only channel that we have where you can say things that the US government doesn't want you to say. That guy Ian Carroll is from there. God, he would never have gotten away with the stuff he says if it wasn't for TikTok. There's lots of people who I think that it's got like, I understand that China bad and China scary and that they're spying on us and everything. I understand that. But I'm gonna miss the good parts about it if they ban it, and I think everyone will. And I think that there will be enough pushback that they'll figure something out. I think they'll keep it. Can you draw Alex's nose from playing with fire? That's mean. Alex is a nice guy. I guess it's mean for me to even say that it's mean. He does have a noticeable nose. It leans a bit, but I like him. Do you ever forget that you're at the top of the food chain? Well, are we? We get eaten by things, right? Thanks for the zoom. You're welcome. I can zoom even more. Check this out. That's as much as it goes, though. And then this is as far out as it goes, which is way too much. You can even see past the desk. I'm doxing my lap. And I've got my delicious pure brand gum. Those guys should send me money. Should buy this stuff. I hope they pay me. Okay. All right, back to questions. You can still access TikTok with a VPN if it's banned, right? Do not ask me technical questions. I am bad at them. Maybe you can access TikTok with a VPN. Bomb Voyage says, NGL, I still haven't lost hope with women. I've been watching Kirsch. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kirsch. And I've been watching Kirsch. And she is very smart and knows what men need. Call me a naive Zoomer, but I'm hoping there are non-shallow and non-lefty women out there. There are. I don't know if you were paying attention, Bon Voyage, but last year I dated quite a young woman. And when I say quite a young woman, I mean quite young and quite a woman. She was really pretty cool. She was, intelligent and had good values and wasn't all, she was maybe like if you have just for the sake of simplicity, because I hate when people go to do the left and right thing, but if you have, left and right, her opinions were like mostly here and maybe just like a tiny bit here. Like that she had some girl opinions, you know what I mean? And I had to make her aware of that. She's like, "But what about this?" And I was like, "No, that's actually a lefty thing." And she's like, "Oh, well, I still believe it." And I went, "Okay," and we worked with it. But most of her stuff was pretty based. And she was 22. And now she's 23. So they're out there. It's just not that many of them. Definitely not enough of them. Leftoid women are the worst. They just believe in just painfully destructive nonsense. And then you go, yeah, that's bad belief. And they go, well, I'm leaving. And then they filter out everyone but simps, and they don't respect the simps. It's just so self-destructive. So stupid. Okay, people are sending me the paid questions now. Hey bro, what is your advice on a long distance relationship, e.g. the Philippines? Strongly avoid them. Long distance relationships usually just become you are saving all of your time and energy for her and she's cheating on you. Women have a very easy time getting physical attention, so if they're getting romantic and emotional attention from you and they have that need fulfilled, they'll just get the physical attention nearby. Don't do it. The only there are not a lot of good reasons to have a long distance relationship. Usually it has to start close together, and there has to be a really valid reason for separating, like you got drafted or I don't know, something like that. But if I started seeing someone for like a year and she just said, well, I have to move to California, I would say, well, I'm not going there, so we're not dating anymore. I wouldn't have a long distance relationship with someone that I saw like twice a year. Never mind the Philippines, man. So I strongly recommend against it, but I'll finish your question. Personally, I met a girl in person. She was smart, but values were way different. Yeah, don't do that. You didn't give me a lot of information, but it sounds like you should wait for something better than that. Oh God, I'm getting such weird ads. I'm getting an ad right here. How do I point to it? Right here. For you guys, it would be here. I'm getting an ad right in that corner of my screen, and it's for lingerie, and it says the lingerie you've been lusting for. Can you get ads that are meant for other people on your Wi-Fi? Because that would make more sense. I'm using my neighbor's Wi-Fi. Dude Joe says, hey, Homath, have you seen Aaron Cleary's economic breakdown of how we are seeing WGTOW, WGTOW, women going their own way and not men going their own way? I have not. I don't even know what that would mean. What do you mean women going their own way? Thank God for YouTube Premium. What do you get with Premium? So you pay for YouTube like a subscription, right? And then you get like ad free or something. I drew these states way too big. I don't remember how to draw Texas. I think it goes like this. I don't know. That's not it. Whatever. Timcast did a great... Oh, yeah, no ads. Okay, cool. Timcast did a great segment, sort of conspiracy theory of how channels are propped up with ads. Interesting. Yeah, you'd get ads for the IP address you're using. Oh, okay, I would. Unless you're using your neighbor's Wi-Fi, you're getting ads tied to them. Well, I guess they're shopping for lingerie. Palatial Entity says, hey, Homath, should girls who are flirtatious with everybody be avoided? Yes. Yes. Because if she knows what she's doing, then she is, deceitful. So if she knows that she is tempting men, and she goes, but I'm not tempting them, I'm just being nice, then she's a liar. And if she doesn't know she's doing that, then she's foolish. I had a conversation with a friend the other day about a boyfriend she used to have who would let women come up to them at like parties and social events and take all of his attention away from her. And he was just sort of he was disconnected from what was happening. So they would come together as a couple, and then this other woman would approach and just gabbing. Oh my God, blah 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 blah, and you're handsome and you have a mustache or whatever. Da, 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 da. And the two of them came together, a couple, but there would be this attention between the two of them that would go unbroken for like minutes at a time. And this one is my friend here. And she explained to me how she would then go home and yell at the boyfriend about like, don't you understand that she was just trying to get at me through you by taking your attention away from me? That is a smart woman. This is an intelligent woman who I respect because she gets what's going on in the unspoken social parts of life. So if you are with a girl who either doesn't get it or pretends she doesn't get it, bad news. Um, it might not be always a big enough red flag to just dump her, but you should put it on the red flag list for sure. Um, maybe I'll do another red flag video about that. Red flag. What did you say? Flirting with everyone? Too flirty. Yeah, that's not, you don't want that. I almost got in several fights once over I always talk about my bad girlfriend. I had one bad girlfriend and one crazy girlfriend, and the rest of them were relatively unremarkable. And the bad one almost got me in several fistfights because she would just go to a party or a bar or something and like sit on some guy's lap. And I would go, "What are you doing?" And she'd go, I'm just having fun and relaxing. I'm just having a good time." And I was, still blue pilled back then, so I believed her, or at least I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And I said, "Hey, listen, here's why you can't do that," and da 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 da. And she went, "You're abusing me. You're controlling me." And it always became like a big scene. And it ended up with guys shoving me and saying, "She can do what she wants, bro." It was like, yeah, that's the kind of thing that you're getting into if you are giving commitment to girls like that. You're going down that road. Don't do it. Brandon says, "Ho math, hello. There's this cutie patati. Terrible spelling. I know what you mean though. There's a cutie at my church, but she's always with her papa. How do you think I should approach her?" I don't know. Approach the father. It's church, right? Just say like, "I'm quite taken with your daughter. Is she is she taking suitors?" Um, if she's always with her father, see if you can gather information about her. Does anyone know who she is? Um, what she's looking for? Anything like that. I think that it would be in the context of a church community. I think it would be really uh, quite socially acceptable for you to ask other churchgoers, "Hey, I think I might like that girl. Can you help me get to know her?" I think everybody would probably respect you for that. I don't think you need to conceal your admiration of her and like sneak up to her alone. It's church. It's a community. Make use of the community. That's what I would do. That's like how they did it in the old days. This is my shortest colored pencil. Um, this one I have barely used. When I started doing home math in July, I found these colored pencils in my mom's basement. I was living in her extra home and they were all this long. The red one is now this short. So it looks like I have 1, 2, 3. It looks like I have another 2 years of red left. Let's see. K10 says, "I struggle to accept that attractive women find me attractive." Oh, okay, I can help. I always feel less than. I've always the less than. For anyone who doesn't know, less than as in inferior to. I always feel like I'm no good. Um, let's get you an answer. I've lost a few good women for being insecure. Any advice? Yeah, you have to believe them. When someone likes you, believe her. It doesn't make any sense for you to listen to your own thoughts about the past and about you being, I don't know, some kind of a video game nerd. I'll give you buck teeth. I don't know. I'm just guessing at what kind of person you were that makes you think you're so unlikable. Do the nerd hair, and the nerd nose. Hello? It doesn't make any sense for you to think of yourself this way when somebody else is thinking of you as who she wants to be with. Just listen to her. Let's do the Chad. The fact that she's there is proof enough. And, you know, look for cues, like look for authentic attention, look for authentic smiles. If you ever like hug her or are in bed with her or whatever, pay attention to the difference between what she's doing authentically and what somebody would be doing when they were faking it. Like, have you ever given anyone a fake handshake? Have you ever just like had to give someone a handshake and so you go, okay. You know how you can kind of tell? Well, if your girlfriend likes you, she's not going to be faking it. If she wants to be around you, you can feel it. And she's telling you, like, I think of you this way, and you're not believing her. And you're holding on to your old opinions of yourself that came from, I mean, I don't know where, I know where mine came from, but when I remembered or when I realized that I don't have to believe this, I can just believe what girls are telling me about myself now. I never felt like this about me again. Kyle Smith says, due to my work situation, I pretty much have to use dating apps if I want to meet someone, but I've had almost no decent matches on any app. Yeah, the apps are bad. That's how it's going to work. Can you make a video on how to best make dating profiles? Ugh, probably not. The only video that I'm planning to do, Kyle, on dating apps is why they are so destructive and why you should stay away from them. I actually don't even have any knowledge of how to make a good profile because the only reason that I was ever successful on the apps is because I had a nice face and big muscles and I just like put that on there and I was like, come get it. And they all did. I didn't have to be clever with my profile. I just like, people say Chad Light. That's what they call me sometimes. Chad Light. I Chad lighted my way through it. I didn't have to do any work on it. I suppose I could ask people who do know how to make dating profiles and compile it, but that's a lot of work. That's a big, big, big project. Dating profile video. I will think about it because I think that if I could put it in chart form, it might make things easier for a lot of people. I wish that I knew what your work situation was because I hate it that you have to use the apps because they are not even close to real life. You can't be relying on them like they're a reasonable way to meet people unless you're a Chad Light, which it sounds like you're not because if you were, you wouldn't be asking me. No offense. Professional retard. I hope I can say that on YouTube. Name of the guy who gave me a tip. Long distance relationship. Thank you for the $2, Mr. Guy with a rude name. Baxter Maxter says, how do I productively keep my expectations low and sane while hunting for a mate in a metropolis? You have to be honest with yourself about what you like. Stop thinking about what you're supposed to like and notice what you actually like. I think if you pay attention to how you authentically feel about different women, you're going to notice yourself liking ones that you don't think you should like. You might be actually quite interested in, like, I've been very interested in some girls who were really, really on the borderline between I might not want people to see that I'm with her because she isn't all that attractive, but there's just so many things about her, about talking to her and being with her and spending time with her where it's like, okay, this is a really good person. And she might, you know, not be in my league looks wise, but I think that I could go public with this one because of just how cool she is. Like if people see us together, it might not make sense at first, but if they talk to her for 5 minutes, then it will. Um, I think that you'll be surprised about who you like if you're honest with yourself about how you feel and not how you think. Don't think about what you want in women. Just feel how you like them. And that'll probably open up some more room for you to consider women that you might not otherwise have. So, what was the question? How do I productively keep my expectations low? That might lower your expectations on looks a little bit. And sane while hunting for a mate in a metropolis. Aside from that, I don't know what you're doing that is making your expectations too high. If you're in a major metropolitan area, what is it that you're doing that is making your expectations too high? I can't think of anything other than looks. Like, are you looking for a girl who makes 200K a year or something? That's probably not true. If I had more information, I could help more, but I hope that that was helpful. Bran says, HM, I'm conservative, libertarian, non-religious, athletic, 93rd percentile income earner at 40. Women in gyms and fitness class are liberal. The few conservative women I've met were crazy religious. Where to fish? Where do you fish? I haven't been fishing in a while. It's been about 3 years since I was even in it at all. I just moved a couple months ago, maybe not even 2 months ago, and I haven't gone out. I've only been working. So the last time that I was fishing, I actually had a social group. I had a large, healthy social group that I spent a lot of time with on a several times per week basis. And a lot of the fishing that I did came from that group or was related to it. I still used the apps a little bit, and I did hook up with a couple girls on the apps during COVID, but it's been that long for me. It was like 2022 when I moved my city from my city area, and since then it has been not much. So where I fish these days is women will just come into my DMs and say that they're in love with me even though they haven't seen my face yet, which is a little crazy, but it's also fun. So to answer your question, you're doing good with money. You don't want the liberal women, I understand that. The few conservative women were crazy religious. If you're gonna exclude liberal women and religious women, maybe that's your problem. Maybe you don't need a new fishing hole. Maybe you need to work with the fish that you can catch. Because other than that, you're kind of talking about like, I think you got to go to a shooting range or something and meet gun girls. I don't know where else you would meet non-liberal women who are also non-religious. I can't really think of because there aren't that many of them. Most conservative women love Jesus. I would think. I'm guessing. But yeah, I don't know. I did have a friend once who met a woman who he thought would be great for me. And he said that she said things about the government that sounded like me. And he was like, oh, the two of you would hit it off. And I said, how old is she? And he was 45. And I went, no. And he goes, but come on, you're so similar. And I went, 45. And so I never met her. I don't know where she was from. Ask your friends, I guess. But yeah, I would say probably you're asking the wrong question. And I would say you probably need to, like most of us, like it or not, most of us are going to need to meet a liberal woman and just like get her to like us and then tell her you could be a little less liberal this week, and then that would be good because your ideas are crazy, and then if she changes for you, that means that she really likes you. Like women change their opinions for men way easier than the reverse. I still wish I knew what that meant. I don't know what women go in their own way are. Ghost Wolf Primal says, any advice on committing to quitting alcohol? Yeah, wean. Go bring it down slowly and then a little bit. You know, allow yourself to have a little bit once in a while. There was a time in my life when I was drinking a lot every day for a long time. And when it came time for me to quit, I cut it by like, I cut by 5 drinks a day, and then by 3, and then by 2. And then I was having like 3 drinks a day, and then 3, 3, 3, 3, and then 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 1, and then like 1 every other day. And then I went 9 months without having any at all. Definitely go slow. Definitely also keep the stuff out of your house. This is not medical advice, by the way. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just saying how I would do it. I think you have to say that. I really need to get my guidelines under control. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to even tell you how to quit drinking. But how I would do it is I would wean off and keep it out of your house. So if you need it, you know, go get only the amount that you need, and so that like that puts a barrier in between you and it if you have to get up and get in the car and go to the store. And you also need to prepare yourself to feel like you need to start again, because that's going to come. There's going to be a moment where something happens and you go, I need to go back to that. And you need something that you can do in place of going back to it, like someone you can call or something that you can do to occupy yourself, or something that you can look at to remind you. Like there was a guy I coached, well, several of them. At any time anyone asks me how to quit, um, you know, spicy photography. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube either, but you know what I mean. The happy pictures that are so popular of all the ladies. Anytime someone asks me how to quit this, one of my suggestions is to put a barrier in between your eyes and the thing. So, for example, if you always look at it on your computer, put like a post-it note on your computer that has all of the dreams that you're not going to accomplish if you waste your time on this, so that you can look at it and get that emotional reminder of like, here's what you're doing this instead of. That can work for when you're tempted to go back to substances too. A lot of it is self-control, and that's the part that people hate hearing the most. There is no way to do anything like that without just like suffering and holding on through the suffering. There's just going to be a lot of times that you're going to feel like you want it, and you're going to have to not do it anyway. And it's going to cost a lot of energy to do that, to resist your impulses. Ooh, quite a few questions today. Guilherme, Guilherme, Guillaume. It's probably Guillaume. Guilherme Guillaume Faleros. Is that Greek or something? Faleros. This woman I really like wants me to visit her at her city, 350 kilometers away. How do I keep frame? I accidentally let her choose the date place. Is it over? No, it's not over. Just because you're going to her and she chose the date place. Just, you know, oh God, how do I explain frame? When you get there, be sure of yourself despite not knowing where you are, and know what you want to do and where you want to go. Just don't follow her around like a puppy and be like, I don't know this place. Just act like you've been there a million times, because you have. It's Earth. You've been on Earth before. You've been in cities before. It's just another city. So just act like you've been there and you belong there and you deserve to be there, and, keep making the decisions you want to make. And one of the decisions that you wanted to make was to go to the place that she suggested. Take control of it. I'm so glad that I said yes when you said you wanted to eat at that place. I'm so glad I chose to bring us to the place you suggested. That's a good trick for keeping frame. Stuff like that. John P says, "Hey man, surprised by your X take on UBI. It's bad and a handout, but with automation rising, what happens when there's no work left? Are you for a Star Trek future or an Elysium where the weak, useless are left to die?" Not allowing the weak to die makes the weak proliferate. So usually you have to have, like, I guess I could get my chart out, hypergamy chart. Usually, in order to keep a species healthy, you have to lose. I laminated my stuff. I've been organizing. My binder is lighter. I took some of my pages and boiled them down, so I got rid of the bits that I never showed anymore, and I consolidated them. So I'm cleaning up. But any species has to lose some of their members. Like those turtles, the sea turtles that lay their eggs in the beach, and salmon and bugs, things that, like salmon or fish of various kinds, they lay like a ton of eggs, and they all hatch and they all swim away, and most of them never make it to adulthood. They're like this. So many of them die, right? We want to believe that we're none. Everybody, this is a word that a term that I coined recently. I'm calling it everybodyism. It is a bad, inaccurate, unhealthy belief that this thing goes all the way off the bottom, and everyone can be a doctor and an astronaut, and everyone gets to have kids and survive, and that it just isn't. It's not good for us as a species. Some of them have to not reproduce. The ugly, dumb, violent, just the crappy ones, they have to go away. So the reason that I don't like handouts and UBI, which is, if anyone doesn't know, it's BI is basic income. What's U? Is it unlimited? That makes sense. Universal basic income, which means just you give everybody money for doing nothing. What that means is that these people who should be, we should be keeping the gene pool clean by letting them fail. We're giving them free money so that they can, lay around and make kids with the other bad ones. And then there's more of them, and then more of them, and more of them, and more of them, and then everyone is going to be gross. Like, you have to clean the gene pool. This is something that people forget. And if you ever, catch yourself saying, but everyone, yeah, just remember the term everybodyism. I'm going to make a video about it as soon as I can. I'm going to popularize the term everybodyism because it's just a super destructive belief. The idea that when there are people who don't have what it takes, that the rest of us should have our stuff taken away to give to them so that they can proliferate and survive. It's not a good idea. I haven't seen Elysium, though, and I don't know what a Star Trek future is. Sorry. Oh, Kyle Smith. I am an over-the-road truck driver. Okay, to answer your question, Kyle was from earlier. He uses the phone apps and can't date in a more conventional manner. So what was it that you said? over the road truck driver as opposed to under. I don't know what over the road truck driver means. To answer your question, I'm not home very often. If I met a woman in the right situation, I could bring her with me on the road. Yeah, I get it. Um, have you ever talked to other truckers about how they met women? Because I know there's a lot of like seedy stereotypes about that. There's always the stories of like the trucker with a hooker in this part of his in this thing, like this. I guess there's a bed up there or something. I don't really know what's in the haircut of the truck, but I always heard that like truckers were kind of seedy because they're always spending their time like sailors. You know, they're always moving around, so they can't be stable. So that might be a question that you have to answer. If I'm always moving around, is it hurting my stability too much? Talk to other truckers, especially older ones who were around before there were dating apps, and get information from them about how they did it, because you might get the answer that it's just too hard to have a stable relationship when you're a trucker. And then you're going to have to consider, do you really want to be a trucker? Or do you want to live in a way that's going to enable you to meet somebody? And, you know, one of the things that, I don't know how to end this sentence. One of the things that makes me so great is that I'm not going to pretend to be able to like solve every problem and have an answer to every question. I think sometimes there are questions that the answer is like, oh, you can't do that. Like maybe you can't be a trucker and find a good woman at the same time. I don't know. Ask other truckers. Joe Doyle says, I love your highly astute analysis on that clip from Sex and the City. Oh, that was one of my favorite videos to make, and then I got demonetized because there was a clip of the music from the I think that guy got like $1,400. That video did pretty well. Lost that money, but that was a fun one to make. I like listening to instrumental music rather than ones with lyrics because I like my imagination to be free while I paint and draw. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, I should make more videos like that. It was a fun one. Um, I like it when I enjoy my job. Some videos I like making and some I don't so much. But yeah, instrumental music it's very good. It's a cleaner, isn't it? It's a cleaner feeling. I feel that like my brain is junked up by whatever the singer wants me to hear him or her saying. Oh, here's the feelings you're supposed to feel about the topic. I don't like it. The Royal We says, at this point, people who are under 40 and married are like the soldiers that caught the last chopper out of Nam. Yeah. It's brutal. Hoflation is 75%. It's bad, and it's really difficult. On top of being bad, it's difficult to even explain to people that it's bad. People will keep telling you to do things that don't work anymore. And then talk to you like it's your fault. So yeah, good for them if they're under 40 and married. Son of Hastur says, many of your tips are about observing yourself reacting to the world. Yeah. What do you like, not what you're supposed to like? Yes, you noticed. Any tips for this kind of introspection in a busy, frantic life? When you don't have the time to reflect, notice the things you're supposed to reflect on. Like pause for a second and go, I'm going to have to think about this later. And then think about it later. Get a voice recorder on your phone. Mine has I have a button. I just have like a can I show you my phone? Beep, 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 beep. Open. I think I can... Oh no, my tab just crashed. You guys still see me? Am I still here? I swear to God, man, my technology. Yeah, it looks fine. It looks like I'm still alive. Sorry, I gotta scroll to the question again. Many of your tips are about observing yourself, reacting to the world you like. You're not supposed to like any tips for this kind of introspection, a busy, frantic life. Yeah, I think I can show you this. Can I? You see right here? The voice recorder app right there. So I pop open my phone and I just hit that and then I talk into it and then I have a weekly note to go through my voice recorder. And then I go, the thing I forgot. And then I write it down. You can process things later. You don't have to do it in the moment. Sometimes I just do it in the shower, while I'm doing dishes, stuff like that. Ghost Wolf Primal says, tips on habits you recognize are bad for you. Okay. So extinguishing habits is about changing behavior consistently. One of the things that I said earlier was about blocking the habit. That one works really well for me. Like, when I need to lose weight, I don't keep bad food in my home because I know that if I get in a bad mood and I have candy and crap in the house, I just will do it. Providing a physical distance or difficulty between you and your habit is a way of preventing yourself from falling into it. This goes with that video that I made a long time ago about the girls running around naked and drunk and saying, it's not what you wear that defines you, it's who you are as a person. It's like you are putting yourself very, very close to poor choices. You're getting as close as you can to temptation and spending a lot of time in it and being drunk the whole time. That is your character. You're displaying your character. One of these days I'll have this. There we go. That was the video. The church club axis here. That's if you spend your time at the club, that's a bad sign. And if you dress modestly, it's a good sign. If you dress independent, that's a bad sign. And then the loyalty. They were making the argument that the way you dress doesn't define who you are, but it's like, I do hoe things, but I'm not a hoe. And it's like, but you're putting yourself in hoe situations. That's what hoes do. So don't put yourself in bad situations. Tips on habits you recognize are bad for you. Other than like muscling your way through it and just not doing it. I mean, there's a reason that people go to like the 12-step program in Alcoholics Anonymous. They get help from others, talk to people about how they have quit the habit. Don't just get stuck and do it by yourself. Give yourself a reward when you do the right thing or when you don't do the wrong thing. Give yourself something nice because your body will physically remember a good thing happened. Like if you're trying to, not look at the lady pictures, and you can go like a whole day without doing it, get yourself an ice cream or something. And verbally tell yourself what it's for. This is because of this. It doesn't work if you're trying to lose weight. Can't get ice cream, but you could do something else. There are lots of tricks that you can do for changing bad habits. Ooh, I'm having a good stream today. I got 883 people here. I don't think I've had that many since I was in the middle of blowing up a year ago. The Royal We says, I've had about a pin of hard liquor a day. You must mean pint. For the past 6 years. That's a lot. A pint is like, what is that? 8 shots? 7? You know what? I can look it up. I'm a big boy. I can do it myself. How many shots in a pint? 10. 10.666. Yeah, that's a lot of drinks. 10 and a third drinks per day is a lot. So you used to have 10.666, just 6, repeating, drinks per day for the past 6 years. Were you that bad? I went over this number for long periods of time, but not that long. Not 6 years in a row. I'm talking like 2 or 3 months. But I did have more than 10 a day for like maybe 3 months at most, where I was just going every day. And this was a very long time ago. Super, super long time ago. It was like while I was um in peak physical shape. But yeah, there were some sad times back then that I drank through. Any negative health impacts now you have let up? The doctors always tell me that I don't have any visible liver damage, so I'm very lucky, but a lot of people would not. Like, you cannot do this. This is way too much. This is probably, I think most doctors would tell you that that's too much for per week, never mind per day. Um, but yeah, I am, I guess you could say lucky, but I also heard recently that if you eat a lot of fat, like especially beef fat, like animal fat, that protects your liver while you're drinking. And I'm a big eater when I drink. I eat when I drink. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, don't ever do that again. Don't anybody have this much alcohol ever. Let's draw this. It looks kind of like a ham marble steak. Okay, I'm gonna get some more questions. Any negative health impacts? Yeah. No, I mean, if you're not feeling anything bad right now, you'll probably be fine. The liver's good at repairing itself. But go get checked out and everything. Not health advice. Highlander says, "How am I supposed to actually approach and ask them out?" I've been over this is pretty simple advice. I've been over a lot of times. I end up doubting the point of trying because I can't gauge if they'd be interested. So go watch Bird Test. Okay? That's your homework. That's a video of mine. Go watch it. Um, Rattle Me This says thoughts on maturation and environment factors. Your question is too vague. Um, yes, your environment has something to do with your maturation. Um, Down to, the available food and sunlight that you have and the people that are around you. Yes, your environment has something to do with how mature you're going to get. Um, in terms of like levels, if you are going to, because this is your mind, remember, for anyone who hasn't seen my quadrants videos, this is your mind and this is your physical situation, and then this is culture. This is so this is the interior, and this is the exterior, and this is the single, and this is the collective. So if you want your mind to mature from level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you want your mind to mature, it's going to go a lot faster if you're in a culture that's mature. So people who are in the United States and Europe and Australia, which are the highest levels developed places, they move up in their minds faster because the culture is higher and it moves them faster. And then there's your systems also. You can't really have one without the other. The culture and the systems and your physical availability of things. They all kind of go at once, really. So if you're growing up in a level 5 culture, you're probably going to get to level 5, and then going beyond it is going to require a little bit of extra work on your part. Your question was very vague, so I think that's good answer. Kalk Kogan says, Chat, what is get my guidelines under control? I don't know. What are you talking about? Who said that? Is that something I said? Get my guidelines under control? I don't know what you're referencing. Sorry. Offbeat Eel says, you have to be honest with yourself about what you like. Stop thinking about what you're supposed to like and notice what you actually like. Oh, yes, he says, paying you for your own quote because it's worth writing down. Thank you. Everybody screenshot that quote from Offbeat Eel. I'll say it again. You can get out your screen recorder and you can record me saying it if you want. You have to be honest with yourself about what you like. Stop thinking about what you're supposed to like and notice what you actually like. It's a heavy-handed, disgusting, self-indulgent rereading of my own quote. Yeah, everybody-tism. That's funny. That's a good play on words. I said earlier, everybodyism, which is my word. Do not steal, I will sue. Do not steal. HM copyright 2025. And then he said everybody-tism, which I think was a clever joke. Either that or it was just a typo. Yeah, I can't wait to get on top of that one. Ben says, pretty sure I joined the Not People Club. Well, it's relative. Like, it's relative to the culture that you're in. It's relative to each individual woman. But I know what you mean. And when you get in there, you can kind of feel it. Pretty sure I joined the Not People Club. Keep getting the cold shoulder from women throughout my day-to-day activities. Did you gain weight? Are you looking sloppy? Did you get old? Because that's what it feels like, for sure. So, it sounds about right. I can't draw the states. I'm not good at drawing the states. Yeah, I don't know how to help you with that if I don't know how you changed recently. Pay attention to how you changed recently. And then take notes. Let's see. Mr. Playlist Man says, what videos do you loathe to make? I actually don't know which ones until I start making them. Sometimes there are problems that develop while I am making the videos, and sometimes I have to go over them several times, and sometimes there's one particular advertiser who I have worked with who sometimes they don't give me very clear instructions or something like that, and then I make the ad, and then I have to go back over it, and they go, well, we didn't like this, can you redo it? And then I redo it, and they go, well, we didn't mean that, we meant this, can you redo it? Stuff like that. When I have to do things over and over, I don't like it. They were much better the last time I worked with them, but like the first couple of times, it was like, this is taking a very long time to get one video out. So I don't know which videos I'm gonna hate making until I'm in the middle of them, and it's like, okay, I've already put 19 hours into this video. I can't just trash it. But also, I lost the original clip, and I can't remember the name of and I don't know, and these things don't match, and I can't get my microphone to. I don't like the ones that end up in problems, but I don't know which ones those are gonna be. MC Wild 11 says, once I got BT headphones, I lost inner monologue. BT means Bluetooth, right? So you're saying once you had convenient music in your ears all the times, all the times, then you stopped hearing your own thoughts? That's interesting. because I haven't listened to music on headphones in a super long time, but I remember having thoughts while listening to the music. I remember thinking about what the lyrics were about and remembering other times I had heard the song, stuff like that. It's interesting that your mind just shuts off. So yeah, there's your 10.7 drinks almost. Ebiosh says, "What are nightmares and dreams? Can they give an insight into the subconscious and the self?" So this is a very inexact kind of science, and I don't think that there's a lot of agreement about what dreams and nightmares are. But one thing that I can personally attest to is that dreams are kind of like replaying what you just lived through to some extent, and it can happen with varying degrees of literalism. So I've only been skiing a few times in my life, but every time I have gone skiing, it was for a really long time because it was just like, we're going to the skiing place, so we're going to spend all day there, and you spend $200, and so you don't just go down 3 or 4 times, you do it all day. And after I went skiing all day and was all exhausted, I would go to bed and I would just dream about skiing. And I would feel like all of the being off balance, and there'd be like the little ski hut down here, and there'd be a big hill I'm going down, and more trees off in the distance in the sun. And I would have dreams about skiing, and I would feel my body like learning the what I did wrong, and it was like reprogramming my muscles to do it more unconsciously next time. So I can personally attest to, like, I used to be very, very good at remembering my dreams. I have a big dream journal. So I can personally attest to being aware of my dreams being learning time. It takes what you did in your day and then replays it so that you are better at it tomorrow. Um, and it can get very abstract too. I know how to do dream interpretation. I have done dream interpretations for people before, and I was going to do them professionally when I started doing coaching last year, and now I just don't have time to do it. But a lot of your dreams are actually just your subconscious trying to work through things and make it easier for you to deal with an issue in your life. I once had a dream about I was stuck in traffic, and it was like really, really like apocalyptically big traffic, like into the onto the horizon, just like roads all over the place connecting, you know, and cars all just jammed as far as the eye could see. And then like these huge kind of rectangle spaceships came down and started abducting all the cars and picking them up off the road. And I wasn't like scared of it, but I was really annoyed by it. And so I got out of my car and I went down into the grass and away from all the noise and the trouble. And I went behind a big blue steel wall and climbed up a big blue steel tower with a ladder on the back. And it went up into the clouds. And there was a ridiculous, like a stereotype of an Indian or an Arabic wise man with a big jewel in his turban and puffy white hair and like you know, bathrobe style clothing. I don't know what they call it. And he was sitting on a magic carpet and flying around. And he told me that I climbed up all the way up here to be able to look at what was going on down here. And he said, you climbed up all this way and now you can't see because it's blocked by the clouds. Do you understand? And I said, yeah, you don't actually know what's going on down here from up here. You can't just read books and do dream interpretations and do all of that abstract stuff and understand what's going on. And he said, do you know what you have to do? And I said, yeah, I gotta go back down and get back in the traffic. And then I did. So, um, you know, that's what that dream was telling me. That you have to stop looking at books and go apply this stuff in the real world, or you're never really going to understand it. And I got 100 pages of dreams like that. So that's what I think dreams and nightmares are in the most practical sense. And yes, they give insight into the subconscious and the self. I need some help, says someone. I am young, Christian, humbly high IQ, and attractive. As you've said about high IQ guys, I hate talking to women, even traditional ones. They are just far too boring and annoying. Not all of them are. I do definitely understand what you mean about them being boring and annoying, but I just don't talk to those ones. And I talk to the ones that are interesting and not annoying. And I've met plenty of them. It's not a high percentage. Like a lot of the girls that I meet say boring things and are irritating and you can't say that and and like there was a scene from Family Guy a long time ago about there was the Grim Reaper and he just had like just a hood and you couldn't see his face. And I think he was played by Norm Macdonald. And he was carrying around his sickle all the time. And he liked a girl. And he didn't know how to get her to go on a date with him. And then he finally figured it out. And she was so boring that he just like touched her and she died. And she was like one of those Daria looking girls with the glasses. I think they might have been square around. I don't know. And she said something about only humans have war. And then Death said, "What are you talking about? Animals kill each other all the time." And she said, "Not with nuclear arms. You can't hug your children with nuclear arms." And it was like, okay, that's when I learned, oh, everyone's been on the bad date with the boring girl that says only irritating, meaningless crap. Everyone's been on that date. Okay. And they wrote it into the Family Guy episode. But they're not all like that. They're not all like that, and I have personally met I couldn't even give you a number, dozens. And I've had meaningful relationships with how many? I don't know, I can't count. Probably not more than 12. I don't think I could say dozens. I've met dozens of like really interesting women, and I've had meaningful relationships with at least a good handful, if not two, of them. So, I mean, what was your question? You're young, Christian, humbly high IQ, and attractive. They're too boring and annoying. Keep looking. Maybe you're too young to have met one yet. Be open-minded, explore new places. Go to places you wouldn't have thought of. Get new interests. Do things that smart women do. MC Wild says, my cognitive level lowered but got rid of neurosis. Okay. I don't know if you were tagging this onto something you said before or if you're just letting me know, but good. Neurosis is bad. You should get rid of it. Tips on dealing with habitual liars. Get away from them. Leave them. Because if you can't tell when someone's lying and when they're not, you can't rely on that person. Get them out of your life. If you've spoken to them about it and you've said, "Hey, I don't like when you lie, and this is what it does to me," and they don't change, you need to minimize contact with that person. And if you can't minimize contact with that person because of some reason, then you need to tell everybody around that person, "Hey, this person told me this lie. It caused me this problem." And if they won't do anything about it, then you should probably leave the situation if it's bad enough. It's like there isn't much that you can do to change people who don't want to change. If you're dealing with someone who lies all the time, you've spoken to them about it and they don't care and won't change, you need to just get away. There's not a lot that you can do to like force them to tell the truth. Unless you can get some kind of power over them and give them real punishments for lying. But I don't know how you're going to do that. MC Wild. This is jumping around all over the place. MC Wild says, "Sorry for small donations, but it helps with algorithm." Well, okay. I mean, I don't actually even know CZK. I don't know what that is. I guess that it's that they do it by color. So it's blue, so it must be smaller. I don't know, what is that, Czechoslovakia? Are they paying me in check marks from like 2005? I don't know what CZK is. But thank you. Yeah, if it helps with the algorithm. Ooh, another big one. $100. Thank you. From Hermit Stew. "Just wanted to thank you for putting yourself out there and having the guts to articulate many of the concepts that you've discussed to date. I've been able to reopen decades-old life experience like ancient dusty tomes with a new lens, and I've learned a lot. Thank you for recognizing." Yeah, I'm glad that that I found a use for this skill, because I had been using the skills I use for this channel in my friendships and personal life for a long time, and people always told me like, "You should be a life coach and you should do this and that with it." And I went, "Yeah, you know, yeah, I'll get that started one day." And then I tried to put some effort into it and didn't go anywhere. And then when my channel blew up, it was like, "Oh, I'll just plug that right in," and it worked great. So I'm glad to hear it. Thank you. Thank you for your assistance. Kalk Kogan says, "During sobriety talk, you said, 'Can I talk about this? I need to get my guidelines in order.'" Oh, that's, yeah, no, I'm not going to remember something I verbally said during a live. Yeah, my guidelines, like FCC guidelines. There are certain things, like if I was going to read you an ad right now, I would have to say, "This is an ad. This is a sponsor that is paying me." That's a guideline. So YouTube has a lot of those, or did have a lot of those. And there was one point where they would like completely shut you down for saying certain words. You couldn't talk about the thing. You couldn't talk about the new brand new medicine that was all the rage. I'm sure you remember that. There's weird, crazy, draconian rules for what you can and can't say. I just don't know what they are. And sometimes it makes me nervous because I start talking about something and I go, "Oh, am I going to lose my entire career for saying one word?" Um, I would feel a lot more comfortable if I did. That's what I meant when I say the guidelines. I mean, like, what are you and what are you not allowed to say? Don't hate the flayer says, "How bad does a girl's past have to be for you to disqualify her as a long-term partner?" Not very. It for me, it gets to a certain point where I'm like, I'll give you one example. I did not disqualify this girl as a long-term partner, but I probably would have if she had told me before we started dating. I once met a girl who told me about her past, and it was like pretty light. It really wasn't that bad. And then at some point, she mentioned to me that she used to strip. And I was just like, you just weren't gonna not tell me that until we formed an emotional bond. That's the trick. And that is the trick. That is something that they seem to do quite a lot, at least to me. I probably, if she had told me that before we started dating, I probably wouldn't have done it. I'm not comfortable with the idea of someone who is like, "Oh yeah, no, I will sell my nudity to make money and I am okay with that." That signals things to me that I don't want in a long-term partner. Um, anything that's really like out of the ordinary, anytime a girl says, "Oh, I used to be the third for a couple," that's like no for me. Um, any kind of obviously prostitution, stripping is too much for me. Prostitution is way too much. Uh, if someone says, I don't know, just things that are out of the ordinary. But usually, if I meet a girl who's like 32 and she's been with like 15 guys, I'll go like, okay, it's not so bad. Let me hear more about what happened and well, what has your life been and all that. Um, but like weird stuff, I will say no to, and selling your sexuality, I will say no to. I know guys who are not like that, or I have known guys who are not like that. I don't know any guys anymore. Not really. I can't believe it's been almost 3 years um since I left where my life used to be. It's been almost 5 years since my life ended. Mark Mills says recent ex posting BS about us on social media. Oh, your recent ex is posting BS about the two of you on social media. What to do? Don't ignore red flags. Choose your partner wisely. Never mind, figured it out. Huh. You saying you figured it out in the middle of posting and then posted it anyway? Good. What to do? I mean, if it's going to affect your life, then just confront it, Get in the comments. Just be like, you lying, you know. If someone's lying about you, you gotta do something about it, especially if it's affecting you. If it's not affecting you, then don't bother. Don't poke it. Like if it's not making a problem in your life, don't worry about it. But it sounds like you said you figured it out, which was kind of crazy. Figured it out in the middle of your comment. Olivia says, "What's the best way to ask my boyfriend for an open relationship on only my side?" What a horrible question. Are there guys that would agree to this? There are, but it's not very likely. I would advise any guy, Olivia, who is asked that question to dump you. If you're serious and you really want to ask your boyfriend to let you have extra partners but not him, the chances are super low that he's going to be okay with that. Super high that he's going to change how he thinks about you entirely. And if I were his friend or his coach or whatever, and he came to me and said, my girlfriend wants an open relationship, but only on one side, what should I do? I'd be like, block and report. Don't talk to her ever again. So I don't really want to help you with the question, but you did give me $5. So I guess if you really want to see if he's okay with it, I would say be as slow and as careful as possible, and be like, you ever heard about these people with open relationships? Do you know about that? I have this friend, and she's said that she's in an open relationship, and I was like, what's that? And then she told me, what do you think about that? Fish for his feelings if you really, really want to do this, but I just don't want you to do it. Chances are he's just going to be like heartbroken and disgusted. Most guys are not into that. But I helped you anyway. Kalk Kogan says, want to try coaching. How do I find a good one? Well, it really depends what you want coaching for. This is why I'm not doing coaching right now. People were asking me for help with stuff that I'm actually not an expert in. There are certain things I can help with and certain things that I am not so good at. So you've got to Look for someone who specializes in the thing that you need help with. And then you also need to check with their other clients to see if they're good. And I think if you do the two of those things, that you should probably be safe enough to at least try a couple sessions. There's a friend of mine I saw yesterday, Michael Sartain, and I don't have any firsthand experience of his coaching skills, but he says that he gets really good results. And I know that he knows what he's talking about when it comes to like evolutionary psychology. And I know that he's constantly surrounded by, like hot chicks, like bikini competition girls. So it's clear that he knows what he's doing, at least that much. So if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to be surrounded by bikini girls and that sort of thing, that would be the indication that you would want to pay someone like him. I don't know what you want coaching for, though. So you got to find a specialty. So yeah, find someone who's specializing in the thing you want and ask their clients if they're good, how good they are, and what they do. Not Envious says, is there a branch of psychology that focuses on practical solutions to society's problems besides CBT? Any professionals besides you who are actually trying to put out this dumpster fire instead of one patient at a time? I think that that's kind of what like sociology and social workers do. I think the idea behind social work is that if they go work with a bunch of different people who need help, that they'll work on the problems. I mean, I guess it still is kind of one person at a time, but how do I answer your question fully but not too abstractly? Because I'm not aware of like a branch of psychology that focuses on fixing society by broadcasting messages. I'm not aware of a branch of it, but I know that there are various people who, like, they used to make public service announcements about, there was one where they, you know how they make those annoying little jingles and you never forget them? They would have like, I remember it being like a plate of food that with like anthropomorphic food, like broccoli that was smiling and stuff like that. And there was a bottle of dressing, and it was like they poured too much dressing on, and they were like, you shouldn't put that much dressing on your food. And the jingle went, don't drown your food. And it's like no one's making money off of that, but they are trying to, for some reason, like those were the social problems we had in the 80s and early 90s, was like these kids are putting too much dressing on their food, and now we're dealing with like mass murder. So that's for people who don't think things have gotten worse. They used to have public service announcements about not putting too much dressing on your broccoli. So I know that there are people who do or have done things like that. I don't know how effective it is, but yeah, people do put out messages like that about correcting behavior. They used to have Dare commercials and Mothers Against Drunk Driving and stuff like that. They would just show the kid drinking the beer and then getting in an accident, and the sirens scare everybody. Um, yeah, I don't know too much more about it than that. I don't know of any major branch or organization of psychological experts who is directly confronting the dumpster fire that our world has become. The Royal We says, dreams about your teeth falling out are the worst. Yeah, those are very uncomfortable, and from what I remember, they usually indicate that you feel powerless in a relevant situation in your life. So if your teeth are falling out, it means something like, I don't feel like I'm capable, or I don't feel like I have any choices, or I feel like I am losing it, like not attractive anymore, or I lost my talent or skill, or I'm not gonna. It's like the teeth are effectiveness at getting pieces of the world into your body and feeding yourself. So when you lose them, it's like, oh, I can't do what it takes to survive anymore. That's the abstraction that is usually meant by teeth falling out in the dream. And also, it's super uncomfortable. I've had lots of body parts fall off in a dream. I also have had them be detachable. I had a dream once where my tongue was detachable and it was like a little oval. And and I was throwing it around on a soccer field like I was a kid. I was like 8 or 9 or something. And I guess, I mean, I never saw the part that my tongue got detached from, but I guess it would be just cut off like that. Um, and I threw it onto, I probably need a new page, onto like, there was like the, you know, white spray paint in the grass. And for some reason, I threw it in the grass and it got all grassy. And then I picked it back up and I was like brushing it off. I never figured out what that one meant. I haven't remembered that dream for a while. I've had detachable like hands and fingers in dreams. Super uncomfortable dream, yeah. Let's see. Someone whose name is just this face. There we go. Someone whose name is just that face says, I feel like people with above average IQ often lack empathy and respect for those with below average IQ and usually have inflated ego because they do not get humbled as often as their less fortunate peers. I would not say empathy. Respect, yes. I would say that people who are more intelligent lack respect for unintelligent people, but it's not lacking empathy. I would not say I've noticed any significant connection between higher intelligence and not, you know, empathizing with more of a regular speed of person. But yeah, respect is a different game. And all of the smartest people I've known get really, really, um, short tempered with less intelligent people. And my personal experience of it is like, it doesn't bother me that you are dumb. It bothers me that you won't listen to the people who tell you that you are dumb and stop making dumb decisions that ruin everyone else's life. It's like, haven't you learned your lesson yet? You've had your entire life to come to terms with the fact that you're not on the right side of the bell curve. Could you stop coming up with brilliant ideas, please? But the answer is no. They continue to do it. It gets maddening. Like, I think you could probably hear it in my voice how sick of it I am. I just get away from those people now. So, it's not that I don't have empathy. It's not like I'm over here like, oh, they should just have different feelings, but I definitely do lose um, respect, as you said. Drawing death. I guess the only color you need is black. The Grim Reaper there. Let's see. It's so frustrating. It jumps around all the time. Idiominant says everybodyism is a high school party. Bring people. Okay. I don't know what you mean by that. But I guess so. I'll think about that for a minute. FDG. Ooh, I don't know what these are either. Just like the whatever check marks or whatever that is. I don't know what ARS is, but it's a red box, so that looks good. And you should start charging memberships. I'm vaguely aware of this, but I haven't had the time to focus on it. I just got caught up on some of my contracts. I have to work on Self-Max now. When I'm done with that, I have to make more videos. After that, I will probably start looking at memberships for like Twitter and YouTube and stuff. I just don't get it yet. and it's going to take me an hour or a few hours to figure out because I can't, what I can't do right now is start charging people for memberships and then not have anything to give them. I can't just be like, oh, be a member of nothing. Like, I don't know what it is involved. I know that I should start charging memberships, but I've got too much stuff to do. But thank you for the tip. I will. I really need somebody to explain it to me in like 2 minutes. But thank you, I appreciate it. Justin M. Life says, I want to go out and practice my interpersonal skills, but is it okay if I'm by myself? Yeah, it's okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay. It's okay. Is it a better idea to be with friends as social proof? Yes. You should be with friends who are attractive and have high status and look like they know what they're doing. If you go out with like your dumpy, stupid friends, that's worse than being alone. And if you go out with friends who dress well and are attractive and tall and have money and know how to talk to women, that's good. It's even better if you can go out with two hot girls on each arm. I'll just get a new page. I guess I don't have to fit everything into one. I don't like wasting. But it's like, it's best if you can. I'll put the sunglasses on him. The absolute best thing that you can do when you go out is to bring the hot girls on each arm. Let's put them in the bare midriff with the low jeans there. I guess I'll just make it into one of those like fancy skirts or something. But yeah, if you can be seen with hot women, and especially if you're like really comfortable with them and they listen to you and respect you and stuff, that's the best. But it's better to go out with competent men than it is to go out alone. It's better to go out alone than it is to go out with incompetent men. Do not go out with your dumb jerk friends who don't know anything, because as soon as you are talking to a girl and she likes you, and then your dumb friend comes over and goes messes it up, she's gonna go, oh, ick to you too. Ugh, both of you. So I'll just put sunglasses on her too. These big celebrity ones. This shoe's too big. Anyway, I'll just go X4 because I don't have time to draw 4 women. Good question. Kyle Smith, FYI, Michael Sartain is a terrible person. Look at how he talks to his viewers/fans. Dig into it. He lost all my respect. Just a heads up. I have never seen him do anything that would make me think of him as a terrible person. He's been cool to me so far, but I guess I will look it up. I guess I wouldn't want to be associated with a terrible person. But yeah, so far I have no reason to believe it, so. Put her hand on her. Sometimes drawing is just a little pressure release. Yeah, I'll look into it, Kyle. Thanks for the heads up. Hope you're wrong. I kind of like know Michael by now. Jack Bandit 32 says, male nurse coworker agreed to date, but later says she's not in the right headspace to date right now. I know I only get one shot at work. What's the move if I really like her? I'm getting other offers. Go with the other offers. If she's telling you not right now, there's a significant chance that it means never, but I don't want to say so because it's uncomfortable. I'm not in the right headspace might mean I met a better guy I like better. It might mean I just got the ick for you and my feelings are never coming back. Don't do the thing where, oh, I'm waiting for the girl. People almost never really actually need to wait. You know, there are people who move countries to be with the person they want to be with. And you know that. You know how important it is when you find the right person. So if she's saying now is not the right time, now is not the right time usually means you're not the right person. If you're getting other offers, go do that. Don't hate the Flayer says, is getting double teamed back in college too much? I wouldn't want to. Aren't you concerned about pair bonding? Yes. She's 26. If you were advising your brother, how bad is too bad? If she's 26 and you said that she had, what, two guys at once back in college, I would say no. If I was advising someone I cared about, I would say don't. Dude, she had two guys at once in college. Don't do it. That's what I would say. So if that's the situation, then that's the call that I'm making. Even if she has like a high number, if it's like 20, 40, 50, something like that, if it's mostly young mistakes or relationships that didn't last very long or something like that, that's better than like wild flings or being a hooker or a porn star, or I shouldn't say that word on YouTube, whatever. There are certain types of notches that you can add to your bedpost that count more than others. And I would say that if she had a two guy at once thing in college, that is probably worth like more than a few individual tries at a real relationship. You know, if a high body count comes from genuinely trying for a real relationship, it's not the same as a low body count that was just like, oh, I want to have a bunch of threesomes. That's way worse. So you have to consider, you know, the nature of the where they came from. Turbo Sim Sports says, how many years do you think in the West before a reactionary swing back to strict societal norms regarding relationships, or will collapse come first? A collapse will come first. People are you really cannot overestimate human stupidity. People are going to cling to their obviously broken, not working ideas until the grocery stores are empty. And then they're going to say, but what happened? There were no signs. Nobody said anything. It's just years and years and years of people screaming at them like, you can't keep doing this, you're ruining everything. And they go, you're crazy, it'll be fine. And then one day things will be bad and they'll go, there were no warning signs. People are that dumb. I don't think that people are going to like revitalize traditionalism as anything other than a fashion statement anytime soon. I see things getting worse before they get better, and it's because people hate learning their lessons. They hate it. People hate admitting they were wrong. They would rather be wrong forever than ever say out loud, I made a mistake. People hate that. So, yeah, just remember that. When you think about what we need to change, a lot of it is people admitting that they made mistakes. Oops, I've been living in the wrong way. That was dumb. How many people do you know who are willing to say that? Oops, my values were incorrect and they hurt me and the people that I care about. Oops, I better change my values to the values of the people that I've been calling Hitler for 15 years. How many people are going to say that? Very, very few. So yeah, don't hold your breath. Stephen Polston says, going back to dating apps, I completely agree you must be a Chad to succeed. Yeah. I currently work a job where it's apps or nothing. I hope it's not truck driving. I'm 31, 6'2", and have a decent face, have no time for the gym. Advice. I would like to give you advice. It's just kind of the same advice that I gave to Kyle earlier. If you weren't here for it, maybe go back and listen to it later. I don't want to, if anyone's been here the whole time, I don't want to bore them with the same advice twice. If you have a job that's preventing you from traditional styles of dating, ask other people who did the job before dating apps came on the scene, what did they used to do? And for more details, watch earlier for Kyle. I forgot Kyle something. He's wearing a hat in his picture. Rice Martin says, what's your opinion / facts RE regarding men just dating non-exclusively, never marrying, dating under ENM, that must be ethical non-monogamy slash polyamory agreements. Enjoy the decline mentally. So my opinion on it is that it's an intelligent response to what's happening, but it's also contributing to the decline. So it's like men who do that, like I think I'm don't quote me on this. I think Rich Cooper is one of the guys you're talking about. He's got I think he does dating coaching for men and like business coaching and stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure what he does. I know that he's called like the Unplugged Alpha or something. I'm not too familiar with him. I can't really promote or denigrate. Like there's some people who I'll say are trash, but um, Rich seems pretty cool, I guess. I just don't know his stuff. But people like him they're paying attention to that. Our society had an ascendancy, and things were good for a while, and then we started getting a little degenerate, and now it's like crashing, and there are no rules, and there's no people aren't getting jobs anymore, and the future isn't certain. And he's just sort of standing here. I'll put his sunglasses on him too. He's always wearing them. He's sort of standing here, and he's just looking this way and seeing the curve, and he's projecting where the curve is going to be, just looking ahead, and he's saying, well, what is the smartest thing to do if things keep going in that direction to get the results that I want? So what he's saying is, if the world is going this way, what do I do to maximize my result? And that's smart. But that's just not the way I relate to the world. The way I relate to the world is I look at where this is going and I think, what do I do to change this direction? What do I do to make it not do that? So rather than just like collecting sports cars and mansions and getting myself a harem, I would really rather spend my time like telling people, hey, this thing that you do, this behavior that you do, that's what's making this happen. So don't do that anymore, stupid. I would rather spend my time on that rather than preparing. That's my opinion on it. That strategy acknowledges the collapse of society. My dating strategy personally does not acknowledge the collapse of society because I would rather just have the kind of relationship that worked up here. I just like that kind of relationship. And I don't really want to, I don't know, do that whole thing. It isn't for me. Enjoy the decline. Let's see. Olivia. Oh, sorry for my question. Chad has the wrong idea. I was just curious, not trying to ruin my relationship. I recently found your content and you seem smart. Yes, I am smart. Well, you don't have to say sorry for the question. It's just that I've met a lot of those girls who, they get into a relationship with a guy, and then when he gets attached and it's like, oh, okay, now it would hurt if I didn't see you again. Then they go, oh, by the way, we're polyamorous now. And then you have to suffer through that. You have to either like let that happen, which is awful, or you got to break up with her, which is awful. And that's, that's no good. That's not fun. So yeah, if you're just curious, then that's all right. But it sounded like you wanted to actually do that. So thanks for checking in. Not Envious says, I think Dr. Phil and others are shifting their focus from individuals to the collective, but I forgot about the PSAs. Don't see many of those anymore. Yeah, I didn't see them either. Weekly reminder to plug SelfMax. Yeah, thank you. I will plug SelfMax. SelfMax.ai. I worked on it for the first time in weeks today. We've got to redesign the page to make it easier to understand how to use it, but people are reporting good results. Selfmax.ai is my app that I launched with some developer friends of mine, and it is a whole life self-improvement tool, and it's powered by AI. Just put brackets around this. So you guys should totally go and subscribe to it. And it uses AI to learn about you and then give you specific targeted suggestions for how to get what you want in life. And we're going to keep improving it for a long time. That's cool that Dr. Phil and everyone is trying to do that. Like, I guess that they see it all falling apart too. Hook says subscriptions don't even need extra content, just some custom emojis. We want green names. God with you. Why are you paying for a green name? You just want to show that you like me more than others? Okay. I mean, I guess I'll look into it. Maybe I'll try to do that tonight. I don't know how to do it. I'll just click around in the settings. Do you have a theory collapse will happen? I still think it's going to be pretty soon. Like it's the 14th. So the inauguration is the 20th, right? So we've got like just a few days before that. We might see something bad happen before then. I'm really suspicious about how quiet the wokeoids have been since Trump won. You'd think that they'd be doing a lot of damage. But the way that I answer this question a lot is that the collapse has been happening for a long time. This is it. It's been going, things have been crumbling for a while. People have less and less. They don't have an identity anymore. You know, you can't stick up for yourself. All of our laws are illegal. Like half the laws are constitutionally illegal and no one does anything about it. It's like that's collapse. Avocado Atrocity just sent some emojis. One of them is the sunglasses face with the lemon wedge smile. I made it fat by accident. There you go. Thank you. Mick Wild 11 says, "Can you draw Soy Jack in everybody tism meme draft?" I don't know what that sentence means. Draw Soy Jack in everybody tism meme draft? I don't know what that means. I know that you want me to do with his forehead, right? And then he's got the weird nose. I don't know what his eyes look like. I can't do Soy Jack eyes from memory. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very good at drawing. Only certain things. Yeah, I don't know what your question means. Sorry. Johnny Cloud says, "Why is the world regressing?" Oh, I've been over this one a lot too. It mostly is that the overproduction of successful people has gone to feeding people who otherwise would not be able to repopulate. So back before like white people landed in Massachusetts. Let's draw a little boat here. Before the Mayflower landed here and white people started to populate the land, the population, like this is something that people never think about. The population of human beings in North America was very, very, very sparse. And that is because they did not have agriculture. They didn't have buildings. They didn't have cities. They didn't have like writing and technology. They were mostly hunter gatherers, and some of them did horticulture. They used like, hand tools to plant plants, and then they would leave for a season and then come back and they would go, "Hey, our plants are still here," and then they would eat them. So it was like early agriculture, but they didn't have like farms with corn and stuff. And so when you're living in that early level of development, it can't support all that many people. So when we landed here and America happened, and we created all the electricity and all the technology and all the, European and American inventions started making things easier, we started creating all like enough food to give to people who otherwise wouldn't have had the technology. So the fact that these technologies took off means that now people who would have populated the world like this are now populating it like this. There's lots and lots and lots of them. Um, so they didn't achieve that large population by themselves. They did it because life got a lot easier because other people invented stuff. And they didn't contribute to the technologies, but they want to live first world lifestyles. That's why the world is regressing. He says, I work with H1B all day long because Americans won't put in the work to be a good engineer. What's wrong with our culture? In American culture in particular, the reason that we are regressing is because the juice isn't worth the squeeze. So we grew up seeing stories and hearing messages like, you better go to college or else you're going to be working in McDonald's, you're going to be flipping burgers your whole life. And then what we found out is that you have to go spend $100,000 on college uh, just to be told that, you can't have a job for diversity reasons. And, the house that you want to buy costs 5 times as much, but your salary is only 1.2 times what it used to be. So like, the price of housing is going up like this, but the price of your pay is only going up like that. And it used to be back during this time, you could put in this much work and get this much stuff. And now you got to put in this much work and you get this much stuff, and they don't want to. And you really can't blame them. You can't blame people who saw their parents and their older siblings and cousins, just graduate high school and live a good life. This would be the work, and this would be the stuff. This would be the work, and this would be the stuff, and this is then, and this is now. They're getting a much worse deal, and it makes them not want to do it. And you can tell them, oh, why don't you work harder? And it's because you're not going to give me anything anyway. That's the reality that they're being faced with. If they were motivated, if they could afford houses and have families and get wives and stuff, they'd be working their asses off. People say, oh, you're entitled. But I don't know if that's the right word to use for people who are disillusioned that their dreams were taken away from them. It's much more complex than just like entitlement. It's much more complex than that. Some of them are entitled. There are spoiled people. There are spoiled brats who just don't want to do anything. They want to get everything handed to them. But you can't ignore this when taking that into account, that it takes a lot more to get a lot less. Odds sent me $1 and retracted his message. Thank you. Mel just said thanks. The Royal Wee says, should you always ask body count and how soon? No, you should never ask someone like, what's your body count? Especially don't use those words. Just try to pick up on what their lives have been like. Talk to their family and their friends. Figure out what kind of people they are. They'll usually tell you. They'll usually let you know through at least context cues. I've been out on dates with girls where they just start talking about this guy and that guy and the other guy, and it's like, okay, I get it. I get who you are. But don't go like, good to meet you. Before you order, what's your body count? Don't do that. And if you are ever going to ask directly, it should probably be after you've gotten comfortable with each other. Like, hey, I've seen you 4 times. It's starting to feel good. Can we talk about history? Something like that. But don't do it right away. Moontree Collective says, have you studied attachment theory? Only a little bit. I talked to Adam Lane Smith about it. If you want to go look at my old lives, I've got a live section. And Adam Lane Smith is really, really good at attachment theory. We had a good chat about it. Insight on dismissive avoidant females. Nah, I don't understand it well enough to comment. Dismissive avoidant. I know what avoidant is, but what's dismissive avoidant? I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to have to read up on it more. St. James says, I don't believe Olivia. I kind of don't believe her too. She sounded serious. But she says that she was just joking. Another 100. Thank you. It's the same, I think it was the same person with the same face. And he says, can we blame dumb people for being born with low IQ? Well, no, you don't blame them. You just don't make them the president. You don't make them the CEO of the company. You don't slow down the rest of the class for them. You don't blame them. You don't go, hey, you're a jerk for being dumb. You just go, get out of the way. Go do something you can do. Don't clog up the system for everyone else. Can we blame dumb people for being born with low IQ, especially when allegedly there are chemicals and whatnot dumbing down people on top of social engineering? I mean, they're being told IQ by experts that IQ is irrelevant. Yeah, that we're all equal and education is everything. Yeah, it is really easy to trick dumb people by telling them that everyone is equal. The dumber that people get, the more they don't know that they're dumb. There is a story which I believe is true. I think it's true. So don't quote me on it. But the way that dumb people think is they think they're smart. And there was a guy who wanted to rob a bank, and he heard that you could put lemon juice on paper to use as invisible ink. And so he put those ideas together, lemon juice and invisible ink, and he said, I'm going to put lemon juice on my face, and then the camera at the bank will not be able to see me, and I'll get away with crimes. And so he goes to the bank with just lemon juice on his face, and he says things to the bank teller, who is just like confused. He says things to her like, don't worry, I really have a face. Don't be scared, I have a face. Right? Because he thinks she can't see it because he's wearing lemon juice. And she gives him the money. And of course, they find out who he is right away and they go catch him. And he goes, I don't get it. I wore the lemon juice. So whether or not that's a true story, that is exactly how dumber people think. They hear something like invisible ink, and they think they're geniuses. I'm the first person who ever thought to make my face invisible with the invisible power of lemons. They think things that are that dumb, and they think that everyone else around them is dumb for not thinking of it first. So yeah, it's very easy to trick them by saying like, oh, everyone's equal in intelligence. There's no such thing, and IQ doesn't matter, because they can't tell the difference. They don't know what it's like to be smarter. So like I don't think I've ever advocated blaming them. I don't think that we should spend our energy being mad at them for being dumb, but we definitely need to be mad when they are creating like disadvantages for smarter kids. When you put a dumb kid in the class with smarter kids and make everyone go the speed of the dumb kid, people should be mad about that at the teachers and whoever made the decisions, not at the dumb kid. Because that's like super harmful. Just completely destroying the potential of a whole classroom full of kids so that you don't make one dumb kid feel bad about himself. It's ridiculous. But I'm told that it's happening all over the country. Uh, some nerd says, "Is there any defense against the bad single friend? I had a really good girlfriend, but she broke off the relationship because her friend somehow convinced her I was some future abuser." You have to have a better bond with your girlfriend than she has with a friend. If she's going to listen to her bad friend, you need to be more listenable to. Also, if you catch wind that she's being manipulated by the friend, get other people in on it. So it can't be just you against the bad friend. It's got to be you and her other friend and her brother and her mother. And they're all saying to her at once, your friend is lying to you and the boyfriend is the good guy. So get several people on your side and have a stronger bond with her than the poison friend. Those are the best defenses. Reeve Cody says, "How does one deal with knowing that they are not going to have a fulfilled life, no family, no purpose?" Well, you don't know that. I didn't know that I was gonna have, what do I have, 1,074 people watching me right now. I didn't think that was gonna happen. Uh, like 18 months ago. You don't know what's gonna happen. It is getting less and less likely. How do you deal with it? Uh, you keep going in the direction that you want to go. I depict this on selfmax.ai. This is the logo of Selfmax. I'll draw it right next to it. It's on the packet. I have a self-maximized packet with some beginning exercises. I have the application. It is the red upward arrow. It's the color of the lowest level on my level chart. And what it means is that you have to have a drive pushing you towards something. There's an old anime. I'm not a fan of anime, but this one was just good. And it's called Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop. If you haven't seen it, you probably should watch it. I prefer the English dubbing of it rather than listening to people who are clearly not Japanese talking Japanese. But there's an episode, I'll try and make this quick. There's an episode of Cowboy Bebop where there is a guy who lives on Titan, which is a moon of Saturn. It's a space opera. It's like a in the future outer space bounty hunters kind of story. And so there's a guy who lives on Titan, which is moon of Saturn, and he travels through this gate to do like all cool, crimey mafia gun shooting on a skyscraper stuff on Mars. So there's space, and he goes to Mars, and the character gets shot on the skyscraper on Mars, and he goes to the main character of the whole thing, and the main character rushes over to him and says, "Oh, you're shot. We have to get you to the hospital." And he says, "You can't send me to the hospital because the mafia is going to look there first." And he goes, "Well, what are we going to do?" And he says, "Well, you have to send me back home to Titan." And the main character goes, "But you are shot in the stomach. You're not going to make it." And the guy goes, "Yeah, but at least I'll be on the way home." That was the last thing that he had left, was at least I can be going home while I die. I can't go to the hospital. I'm shot in the gut. I want to at least be going home. If you really do think that you're not going to have a fulfilled life and you're not going to have a family, you're not going to have everything, at least be on the way. If that's all you can do, then that's all you can do. But don't just sit there and go, nothing good is coming, nothing good is going to happen. Reality is too complex for you to know that. Reality is very unpredictable. I've had some crazy things happen to me. I've had my life change in ways that I really didn't think were possible. I don't know, 5 times. And some of the changes are abrupt too. So the only thing that you have control over is, are you on the way somewhere or not? So that's my answer. If you really can't see any way towards what you want and you really think it's hopeless, just be going anyway. Just in case you're wrong. Kalk Kogan says, my question was supposed to be about what you guess the steps of collapse will be. Oh, well, the steps of collapse are always the same. It's always like the propaganda is a step. This is one of the reasons that I'm like so nervous and negative all the time, because the propaganda is a part of the collapse. The fact that they are saying things that are not true and putting them on signs and going, hey, the bad thing is good, and everyone goes, bad thing, bad thing. That's a part of it. That's one of the steps. No groceries. I'm not sure if that one's going to happen, but the fact that people have less and less money is part of the collapse. Jazzy scooter militia. That's happening. Do you not know that? Have you not seen the scooter violence peoples that are more popular than they used to be, and the people blocking the streets that didn't used to happen? Like whole neighborhoods are turning into dangerous places with scooters and cars doing donuts. That's happening. So you're describing real things that are happening now. And then you say apes riding horses. I don't know. I bet it wouldn't be that hard to train an ape to ride a horse. The steps are predictable though. The propaganda leads to like a shift in power, and they're buying up farmland. There might be food problems at some point. There might be food shortages at some point. The purchasing of politicians. Some people think that Donald Trump is an Operation Trust and that he's with the bad guys, but they just make it look like he's not, so that people don't do anything about it while they continue to make the problem worse. I don't know any of that. But yeah, many times, like I believe it was, I don't know if it was Yugoslavia, maybe it was Yugoslavia, but many times there is a very sudden change, and then all of a sudden all the electricity's off and everything's dangerous. So it's not predictable enough for me to tell you what the steps are going to be, but they're like, the steps are always the same. They're not always in the same order, but they're always the same steps. And one of them is like a really big, like a big red flag, like huge red flag, is when the government and corporations are saying stuff that no one believes. No one thinks it's true, but everyone's saying it's true so they don't get in trouble. That was a big one. So what that means is that power is in the hands of people who want to hurt you. That's what that means. In case you're not terrified yet, should be. Next question. Thanks for the lemon juice idea. It's brilliant. That's avocado atrocity. I'll look for you on the news. Oh no. Oh no, I'm not freezing, am I? Oh no. It's just getting jerky. 10 Raised Tube says, Sex and Culture by J.D. Unwin describes how civilizations fall. Yes, that is on my reading list. If you haven't seen my reading list, go look at it. It's on my link tree. I'll put that next to myself, Max. Link /HOE_MATH. I have a reading list on here, and Sex and Culture by J.D. Unwin is on it. Block Olivia and all like her. Punish bad behavior. I don't know. Maybe I should block Olivia. I don't have any proof that she's actually going to try and trick her boyfriend into being a cuck. But yeah, that wouldn't be cool if she did. Moon Tree Collective says, if we got fairly close to Westworld, would it be unethical to have that type of advanced humanoid bot as romantic partner? You're gonna have to give me a moment to Google Westworld because I don't know what it is. Still have how many shots in a pint? Westworld. There's Westworld. I see a skull on a, what is that, a lawnmower? Watch Westworld, Westworld TV series, an American dystopian science fiction Western drama television series. God, that's too many words. American dystopian science fiction Western drama television series. That's 8 words to describe sitting in front of a TV. American dystopian science fiction Western drama television series. That's 22 syllables for sitting on your ass and watching TV. Created by Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, that first aired on October 2, 2016. It's based on the 1973 film of the same name, written and directed by Michael Crichton. I know him. He did Jurassic Park. He was the dinosaur man. Michael Crichton wrote Jurassic Park. Little T-Rex eyes. Anyway, Westworld. Technologically advanced Wild West themed amusement park. What? Populated by android hosts. The park caters to high paying guests who may indulge their wildest fantasies within the park without fear of retaliation from the hosts, who are prevented by their programming from harming humans. Later on, the series setting expanded to the real world in the mid 21st century, where people's lives are driven and controlled by powerful artificial intelligence named Rehoboam. Rehoboam. That this strikes me as potentially Masonic. I feel like there's an anagram, like the if you move letters around, that it spells something else that is significant. That from my Kabbalah days, it just looks like the kind of word that might be sneaky. So what is your question? If we got fairly close to Westworld, fairly close to what? The amusement park where you can beat up robots? Would it be unethical to have that type of advanced humanoid bot as a romantic partner? Probably. Unethical how? I don't think that it's very likely that machines are ever going to actually be conscious. I think they're going to look conscious. So if you're talking about ethics, you're talking about the effects of that kind of behavior on other people and on yourself rather than on the robot, because I don't think the robot's going to feel anything. No matter how well consciousness is simulated, it doesn't mean that it's conscious. Like the Turing test absolutely does not prove that the computer is conscious. It just proves that it can fool people into thinking it is. I'm really just not. I don't know how to draw most animals. Weird career I got myself into now without being able to draw. Kyle Smith is back. He says, to answer an earlier question about be on the way, even if you don't find fulfillment, one of my favorite quotes, there is no certainty, only opportunity. Yeah, that's a good one too. Odds says, native, no skills, but love guitar. What should I do? Well, get some skills, man. Get some skills and get some money. This is the question that you're asking is what I built an entire application for. I would say sign up for SelfMax. If you don't know what to do, then you can tell SelfMax about yourself and it'll give you some personality assessments, and then you can tell it what you like and what you want, and it'll be like, hey, you ever thought about trying this? Well, why don't you call this person and do it? It'll poke you and tell you like how to pursue your goals. I would need so much more information about you before I could tell you. What does native even mean? Native of what? Native American? No skills? You've none? You don't have any skills. You don't know how to fry an egg. Yeah, that's what I made the app for. I'm just gonna anytime someone asks me a vague question like that, like, "Hey, I'm 19 and I'm 5'10." What do I do? I'm just gonna say, just subscribe to SelfMax. I'm gonna do that from now on. That's my last paid question, so please don't anyone send me any more. I'm about to go. I think I've been doing this for over 2 hours now. So I'm gonna go to the live chat and some lucky someone will get oh, Olivia's still here. She says I didn't ask for an open relationship. Good. Is this guy a Mason? You didn't hear that part? Rehoboam. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and then O, O, R. Abermore. I don't know. Rearranging the letters sometimes gives you a clue about the intentions of the person who created the word. If you guys can think of anything, put it in the chat. I'm going to go in a few minutes. I play guitar. I can tell you for certain women don't care. Not all women care, but when women care, they will care a lot. It's not going to, like, you can't just learn to play guitar and get every woman to like you. But that's like, guys sometimes say women don't care if you play guitar. That is not right. If you play guitar competently and like publicly and people see you doing it and they go, oh, that guy's really good, women will like it. Not all of them, but like, just go look at old videos of the Beatles. They just played guitar and sang, and women scream their lungs bloody. The women do care about that. You're just like, you can't send women a clip of you that you took on your phone of you playing guitar in your mom's basement. Like, go get good at it and go actually do it. I think someone just paid for a question after I asked you not to. I'm about to go. What's the opposite of self-max? Laziness. Rehoboam is a Jewish king. Okay, the Beatles weren't even good. They kind of weren't. They're pretty boring. I love, love, I love you. I'm happy, happy, love. It was like 3 years of that, and then they took drugs. And Googa Jooga Booga Boo. That was actually pretty crazy if you think about it, that the Beatles were a boy band, and then they just took acid and turned into like a spiritual movement. It's really wild. Okay, I'm going to answer this question, then I'm going to go. Rice Martin says, Polly, since so was 16. So, is that significant other? It's in lowercase. Polly, since so was 16 in 2006, I'll never get married. I don't know what that sentence means. Polly, since polyamorous, since SO was 16 in 2006, comma, I'll never get married. Yes, in 2006 you will never get married. That's right, because it's not 2006 anymore. I've found it most enjoyable and actually seems to breed respect in hoes. To live this lifestyle, you must be attractive, makes dating tolerable. So are you saying you've been polyamorous since the person that you're dating was 16 and that this happened in 2006? So in 2006 you were 16, so you're 35 now, and you've been polyamorous for that long and you'll never get married and you like it because, and it makes women like you and respect you. To live this lifestyle, you must be attractive. Well, that completely like defeats all of the other stuff that you said. If you are attractive, you can have many women anyway, because we don't have rules against it anymore. And even when we did have rules against it, they would find a way to do it in secret. They would figure it out. So if you're saying, oh yeah, totally be polyamorous, and by the way, you have to be attractive, all the attractive men figure that out already. So if you're not the kind of, guy that's hot enough to make women say, oh, I respect you so much for being polyamorous, then it's a super bad idea to do that. Um, because, you have to negotiate. Like, if you're not attractive enough to inspire that kind of desire in women, you have to cultivate it in some other way. You have to be good at something and earn respect in some other way, like put on a uniform or something. Um, so yeah, anyone that advice would work for doesn't need it, but I understand, Rice Martin. Thank you for contributing. I just wish I could have read your sentence. Sorry to make fun of you, but that was a tough read. Okay, I'm going now, and I'm gonna make more videos now than I used to for the last 3 months. I'm gonna try and do like at least one a week. Okay, good night. Goodbye.